You are 26 years old when the letter arrives. No CIA seal. No return address. Just a phone number and 3 words. Call this number. You almost throw it away. 6 months later, you are sitting in a windowless room in Langley, Virginia, signing documents that legally erase parts of your life. Your real name stays on file. Everything else becomes negotiable. This is the moment you stop belonging to yourself. The training does not look like the movies. There are no fistfights in alleyways. There are 12-hour days memorizing cover identities until they feel more real than your childhood. You learn to lie without blinking. You learn to notice a man who has followed you for 3 blocks without turning your head. You learn that hesitation gets people killed. You are taught tradecraft, dead drops, brush passes, how to detect surveillance in a crowded market in Istanbul, how to disappear in under 90 seconds. You are taught something else too, though no instructor says it out loud. How to be alone. Your first posting is not glamorous. It is a mid-sized city in a country whose name your family will never hear you say correctly. You work under official cover, a cultural attaché, a trade liaison, something boring enough that no one asks questions. Your business card is real. Your job title is not. For months, you do nothing but build a life. You join a gym. You learn the language beyond textbook fluency. You make friends you will one day have to lie to indefinitely. This is the first hidden truth. The job is not about danger. It is about patience. 90% of your work is waiting, watching, building trust with people who do not know your real purpose. Then, one evening, a contact reaches out. A local official with access to information your country needs. You meet him in a parking garage, engine running, no name spoken. He hands you a folder. You hand him an envelope. Neither of you smiles. This exchange could end a war, or start one. You drive home a different route than you came. You always do. The isolation deepens with time. You cannot tell your parents what you actually do. You cannot tell a partner, if you're lucky enough to have one, why you disappear for weeks without explanation. You watch friendships from your old life fade into distant, polite silence, because you have nothing true left to share with them. Every relationship you build now exists inside a lie, even the real ones. There are nights when the loneliness feels heavier than any physical danger. You sit in a rented apartment on the other side of the world, staring at a ceiling, wondering if the version of yourself your neighbors know is more real than the one back home. Then there are the nights that are simply dangerous. A source goes dark. No message, no explanation. You do not know if he was arrested, turned, or killed. You will likely never know. You carry that uncertainty the way other people carry grief. Quietly, permanently. You are trained to compartmentalize, to function despite fear. But fear does not disappear. It just learns to sit quietly in the passenger seat while you keep driving. There are moments of real threat. A surveillance team that gets too close. A meeting that feels wrong the second you walk in. Your training takes over before your mind catches up. Exit routes calculated in seconds. Exposure risk weighed instantly. You learn to trust your instincts the way a soldier trusts a weapon. But unlike a soldier, you fight in silence. No medals. No headlines. No one will ever know what you prevented, because the world only notices what fails, not what is quietly stopped. This is the second hidden truth. The greatest victories in this profession are the ones no one is allowed to celebrate. Years pass. Postings change. Names change. You return home occasionally, a stranger wearing a familiar face. Holidays feel foreign. You sit at a family dinner table answering polite questions about a job that does not exist, performing a mundane life as convincingly as you perform your cover abroad. You begin to notice that after years of lying professionally, the truth feels unfamiliar in your own mouth. Some agents leave the agency changed in ways therapy can only partially repair. Trust becomes a technical skill instead of an emotional one. You read people out of habit, even the people you love. You scan restaurants for exits without meaning to. You wake at the smallest sound. The job does not simply end when a contract does. It rewires how you see the world permanently, and yet you stay. Because somewhere beneath the exhaustion and isolation, you believe in something larger than yourself. You believe that the quiet, invisible work you do prevents visible catastrophe. You believe that someone has to stand in the dark so others can safely stand in the light. This belief is what allows you to keep going after the losses, after the sources who vanish, after the relationships that quietly end, after the version of yourself that no longer knows how to simply relax in a crowd. Eventually, some agents retire into ordinary life. They try to reclaim the parts of themselves that were set aside years ago. But the skills do not disappear. The instincts do not switch off. A part of you will always watch the room. A part of you will always notice the man who lingers too long by the door. You carry the job long after the job has released you. This is the final hidden truth. The CIA does not simply employ people. It replaces the life they used to have with one built entirely on discretion, sacrifice, and controlled fear. Some see this as loss. Others see it as purpose. Perhaps both are true. Because in the end, the world is shaped as much by the things prevented in silence as by the things celebrated in public. And someone, somewhere, has always been willing to disappear into the shadows so the rest of the world never has to know how close it came to the dark.